The story around Bitcoin is likely to change too. The other issue is that these governments aren't just sitting around doing nothing. They're lowering interest rates. Is that right? From their point of view, they're set to go through a lot of deflation. This looks quite nice for the next 90 days and then the next year after that. I think that indicates that all cryptocurrencies will be looked at again. I believe the SEC will change. I believe that printing money will keep going. It will continue. That will be great for Bitcoin. And I guess we get right up to well over 100,000. I mean, like 140,000 or 180,000, something like that. The price of many digital assets is about to shift, okay? XRP is worth $2 and Bitcoin is worth $105,000. Yes, Fred Krueger is probably going to explain this in a mathematical approach. In today's video, we talk about how things are going to increase at a rate that we've seen a few times before in history. And I really enjoyed how Fred Krueger is going to explain all of this to you guys back home. It really helps you understand what previous cycles have done, what the catalysts have been, and what we can expect for XRP, including how much liquidity is going to flow in. I don't think many of you know this, but trillions of dollars are about to flood into cryptocurrencies. This will cause a lot of good price movement. In 2021, coins like Solana went up 100 times. And in November, coins like XRP started to have a lot of price action also. I have to add that I'm looking forward to what's coming here. If you guys are too, then you should smash the like button so everyone can see this video. And let's hear from Fred Krueger, the brilliant mathematician. The numbers are just too big. The price of Bitcoin is going to reach 7 figures. That's what's going on. And now TradFi has so much money and so many assets. I assume those that use Bitcoin don't see this. This is the math that I believe is really significant. You have $100 trillion worth of assets in TradFi and $100 billion worth of assets that can be used by TradFi. 100 billion. Okay. Yes. All right. That means it's 1/10 of 1%. Yes. Okay. Now, what are the odds that 0.1% will go to 1%? Let's say 1%? Yes. There is a 1% possibility that we will go from 0.1% to 1%. And in the end, we'll probably move from 1% to 5%. Isn't that right? Yes. And maybe even more. Well, that's a 10 times the amount of money put into this device. Yeah. That means the price of Bitcoin will go up by about 40 times. Is that right? In terms of market cap, we're going from 1 trillion to 41 trillion, which is almost $4 billion per Bitcoin. So as you can see, the math is really wonderful. Isn't that right? And what didn't I put in that? The remainder of the planet, China wasn't included. I didn't put Europe in. I didn't put any of that in. Real estate wasn't included. I didn't know you. The numbers are just too big. They just aren't used to these numbers. They haven't really looked at these figures closely. You know? There's a wave of cash, a wave of money that wants to go into this asset. Is that right? The main point here is asset allocation and the sheer scale of the flows we're looking at. I believe this is really incredible. And I think people who use Bitcoin just don't get how large it is. They don't actually. They just, and they even have the example. There are $6 trillion in money markets right now. 6 billion? That's insane. I mean, could we get 20% of that to go into Bitcoin? Yes. Why not? Without even a decrease from real estate, the QQQs or anything else. Yes? And this doesn't even take into account any future increases in the money supply. Yes. So I'm just stating that I chopped everything down by 5 times, and I'm still getting that this item is going to be worth more than $1 million pretty quickly. Yes. I think this is happening, and that this is the big trend. You don't have to be very smart to see one of these big trends, you just have to get on board. And I think that's the message. The price of Bitcoin is expected to go up to 7 figures. That's what's going on. So now you can either mentally agree with that figure or not. And if you do, you shouldn't put 1%, 2%, or even 10% of your money into Bitcoin. Those values are too low. I'm lucky that I found out about this about 5 years ago. Yes, but it wasn't like my first time hearing about Bitcoin. I finally got into it 5 years ago. And, even if you receive the religion today, it's like we're still very early in this process. People are going to look back and say, how the hell did you get into Bitcoin in 2024? And I thought, what a smart thing you did to buy at 72,000. Daniel Goleman, 3033. So I want you all to take a moment to think about this. Okay, just think about this. If Bitcoin is going to grow above $1 million in the next 5 years, which is almost certain, what will happen to XRP? I mean, we witnessed Bitcoin go from around $65,000 to $100,000 per coin, and XRP jumped from about 48 cents to more than $3.50 per coin for a short time. I'm not a mathematician, but 6 times to 7 times the gains over the same time period, while Bitcoin only went up 2 times in price, is a big difference, that's right. So if we look at Bitcoin's price going up by 2 times, and that happening, we can expect XRP to go up by around 3 times that. In the same amount of time that Bitcoin goes from, say, $100,000 per coin to $1 million or more per coin, we could easily see XRP go from $2.50 per coin to 20, 30, or even 40 times that price, trading at almost $100 per coin or maybe even more. That is completely crazy, and I think this tendency is going to keep going for sure. XRP has taken market share from almost every other cryptocurrency during the COVID pandemic, and it's just better in so many ways. So why wouldn't it stop? They're building great relationships. They're dealing with banks and other entities. They are getting billions of dollars in funding. They are making smart investments to add stuff to the XRPL. I believe that being a part of the XRP ecosystem right now is a great opportunity. And if you don't take full advantage of this, I think a lot of people are going to look back at the price of XRP 5 years from now and say, I was so dumb not to buy XRP for $2 or $3 per coin. That's why I don't want to make that mistake right now. I believe that this bull run still has a lot of room to grow because we know that the money supply will rise dramatically. I believe that during the next bull run, more people will use it, and it will become more popular because the rules will become clearer every month that goes by. And I'm quite excited about that. I've been positive on XRP since it was at 48 cents, so I'll say that. It's continuing going up for me, and it's trading